Hello everyone, welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to try and create a simulated operating system in the browser. Now we're going to do all of these things with AI coding tools, which means that I'm not going to be touching the code myself. So we're going to try and vibe code an operating system similar to Windows desktop in a simplified version, but then with features that actually works. We're going to do it in the browser. Let me show you the final version of what we are going to be creating. As you can see on your screen, this is the final version of the desktop or in-browser operating system that we are going to be working on. Now, when you come to the app, this is the first screen you're going to be seeing, the sign out screen. You just enter a name and then you log in. All right, so I'll just use John and then I'll click on sign in. Now, when you sign in, you'd see that we have your desktop. Here, you can see there's a timer here. You can actually drag and put it anywhere you want. This is draggable. Right, and these are the desktop icons that you can also drag and then put them anywhere you basically want. You can arrange them any how you want. Right, and here we have the dock view. If I click on settings, the settings window is actually opened here. It is highlighted on the dock view, but here in the settings, you can change the wallpaper to whatever you like. You can also upload a wallpaper from your PC. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log out and then try and log in again. That's because I was working on that, so some of the apps were hidden. I removed them. When I start from scratch again, you can see this is how it looks like. Right, so this is the dock view, as you can see here. All right, and I'm going to open the settings again from here so that we have a clean slate. Yeah, so from here you can choose either of these wallpapers, or you can actually upload your own wallpaper. All right, so let me try uploading my own as I was doing. I've uploaded this wallpaper and that's my background wallpaper. Now it looks a bit blurry. I think it is something I can fix a bit later. You can go ahead and choose any of these default ones, right? And here you can also switch to light and dark theme from here. So I'm going to try and open some more apps. So let me arrange these here. So let me put yeah, okay, these can be here, but let me put this here and then I can put this here. If I try to open some apps like the calendar, let me double click to open. All right, so let me put the calendar here. You can see that when I click on this one, yeah, it makes that active. It makes that window active. All right, so I can also open the calculator app. I can open the settings is opened already. Let's open the notepad here. And so let's also open the to-do list. Yeah. Okay, so you can see that on the dock panel, here, all the apps that are open are highlighted here. Right. So for example, if I hide or minimize the notes app, you can see it's shown here. Right. The difference between the opened ones and then the minimized one. Right. So unless I actually close it, then you can see it is closed. Right. So I'll try and open that again. Right. If you want a music player, I also have a music player up here where you can actually click to play any of the music we have here. So if I expand it a bit, you can see we have some music here. Now with this music player, you can also upload your own music. Let me click here and then let's go to music. For example, I can open this. Right, so I can click on play, and I don't think you can hear, so let me just increase this a bit. See, yeah, you can listen to the music. You can click on the one we selected and you can see that's also playing. You can use here to go through the list of music you have. I'm gonna pause it. All right, so we have the calendar here as well, and I can begin to close some of these. So let me actually arrange some of these so that we can see them well. So let me make this a bit small. Let me pause the music, and let me put that here. Let me put the calculator up here to do. Alright, I can put that here as well, and then this and this can, yeah, they can be here. All right, now I can also drag this one. All right, so what I want to show you is that you can see when I change it to light theme, you can see all the apps basically change. They adapt to the light theme. When I go to dark theme, or when I go to colorful, you can see they all changes. And then when I go to the font, you can see how they also adapt to the fonts as well, the system fonts. All right, so we can also increase the font size. You can see how all of them are synced together nicely. All right, so that's basically how it works. I can also search for apps using the search. All right, so when I search, you can see it opens the search panel here, and I can begin to search for like calculator. It's already open, so I'm going to open again. Right, so here I can close it. Now I can also do Control K, right, to search for the stuff. Right, and you can see they also appear here. Now if I change to dark theme and I do Control K, you can see there's also a dark theme version. Right, close notes. If I close the calendar, it's gone from here. Right, so if I hide it, it's still going to be there unless I basically close it. Okay, so these are very cool features. So these are some of the apps you can open and then close. So let me put that here. You can also right click here and then you can see there is a refresh. There is settings. You can open the settings from here as well. You can refresh this, which will refresh the entire browser. But here you can also hide and then show the desktop icons. You can hide them and then you can show them. And yeah, that's similar to what happens in Windows. And I mean, I like to mostly hide my desktop icons when I'm working on my PC. So yeah, added that feature as well. We have a simplified version of an operating system desktop. Yeah, once you wanna go, you can just log out again, and you're good to go. The image for the sign-in screen is different than the actual desktop image back a wallpaper. It becomes blurry when you log in. I'll check the reason why. So we're going to be vibe coding all of these. We're not going to touch a single line of code ourselves. We're going to use AI coding tools to build this. So I'm happy to get started. Let's actually dive in and start. All right, so our goal is to create a simple version of an operating system simulation in the browser. I already described what we want to do. Normally, if I want to do something like this, I'm going to first of all draft my idea, what I want to have, right? So I can use something like a sticky note or something like that, just like you can see here, to draft the points or the options of the things I want to have, right? It's just the raw idea, nothing more. That's an operating system simulation in the browser. So for example, the apps I want to have, like music player, to do app, Pomodoro clock, notepad, and some of these things, right? And then some other options I want to have here as well, like desktop icons, wallpaper, ability to upload your own wallpaper, doc view, theme changer, quick search, and stuff like that. So when I finish with maybe the few options that I have in mind I want to have, then I would normally go to ChatGPT and then I give ChatGPT the idea of what I want to do so that can establish the requirement with ChatGPT. This is the prompt I give to ChatGPT. I want to vibe code an in-browser operating system simulation. I want to build a simplified version of Windows 11 or Mac OS style with doc view, a beautiful search panel, and some simple apps you can drag and drop around the desktop. So here you can see I provided it with the options I had already, and then I also attached some few screenshots up here, inspirational screenshots, two screenshots of a sample operating system, right? And yeah, just ask it to review it and then add some ideas, establish the requirements and all that, right? So the review, it suggested just grouped these. We can add music player, notepad, Pomodoro calculator, and then some other ones, right? So some more apps that we can add here: file explorer, simulated version, mini browser, using iframe, paint, or doodle app. Yeah, and then some other options. And then when we come to the desktop features, these are some options, and then some other bonus ideas as well, which we can add a bit later if we have, like, if we can. After that, I went ahead to let it create a requirements document for me, right? So I wanted to create a full requirements document which will help us implement the feature. So I went ahead and drafted the requirements document, but I also asked it to create the prompt which will help us implement these requirements in phases, right? So you can see on the right hand here, this is the final document we have for the prompts, right? And because I'm going to start with both, I'll later transition into like either cursor or tray. I'm going to decide to choose one of these a bit later, but yeah, I'm going to always start from both. Once I get to a point where I feel like I should clone the code and then continue locally, then I'll do that. We have the phases, right? So phase 1 to 5, core desktop environment, and then we have the customizable and search app suites, app UX and system settings, fun add-ons, some extra add-ons. So these are the prompts we are going to give for the different phases. Right, so for example, the phase 1, we want to implement the desktop UI, the dock taskbar, the Windows Manager, the simple alt simulation, right? So we would also add simple alt simulation as well. So no actual sign up with any with password or PIN. just a simple flow without any password. App registry, state persistence, and then yeah, I've gone through these prompts and modified it a bit. So I think they are in a state that I want to use them as is. And so we have the different phases here that we are going to be implementing. We're going to start with the first phase. So I'm going to copy everything I have here and I'm going to go to bold. As you can also see, the name is suggested is Vibe OS, right? So I'm going to go to bold and I'm going to paste my prompt here. Right. So create a React Vite project named Vibe OS. That's the name of the project. Using this, so when this is done for state management, and yeah, I added all these requirements here. So I'm gonna paste it, and then I'm going to let it build the first phase. Yeah, so you can see it started. It's trying to install dependencies. So we're basically going to wait for a few minutes for this to finish, and then we will see what we get for the first phase. This is the preview I have. Well, then I feel like it looks cool already. So this is more like the first phase. So let's go through the files that it's basically created, but we've not actually gone into the view. We will test the view, but I can see here that it's installed as a standard framer motion desktop store. So that's there's a stand store, some app configs. We have the desktop, the actual desktop, and then we also have desktop icon, component, window manager, app window, dock, context menu. So there's some context menu as well for right click. And then we have the sign in screen, which we are seeing, and some apps like calculator, notepad to do, Tetris game. Okay, those are cool. So uh, let's actually test and see what we have, right? So let's add a name here. Let's test and see. So let's say John, right? And I'm gonna click on sign in, and look at that. That is very, very cool. So I have the doc view here. There is logout, and there is notepad, calculator, to do, Tetris game. So actually, let's make this a full screen and see. Yeah, so you can see it looks very, very cool, right? I'm not sure if this is in the middle, but it doesn't look like it is in the middle. It looks a bit to the right side than in the middle. So we'll fix that. But let's see if I can drag. Yeah, you can see I can also drag these desktop icons and place them wherever I want to place them. And you can also see that um, it opens the game. Like once I drop it opens. Wasn't expecting that, but yeah, let's see. I can drag this around as well. The positioning is not perfect yet, but it is a great first start, I think. And you can't resize these using their edges here, but I think you can click here to resize. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, this is just a placeholder. It's not actually working yet, but let's also try the to do. So for example, this is the to do app. You can see it is draggable. The positioning is not yet great, but I can also yeah drag it around, and I'm not sure this is going to work yet, right? Okay, it does work. So for the to do application, it is working. And let's also try the notepad. Yeah, so some cool stuff going on here, right? You can see I can add some notes. Yeah, I can okay, I can refresh, I can view options. No, view options is not working. I can click on save. Okay, so save looks like it is saving to our actual computer, our actual desktop instead of this one. But that's fine. That's fine. You can see that we have a bit of functionality working here, even with the first phase. Alright, so I feel like that is a very, very great start. So we're going to build on top of it and make it even better. Alright, so I'm trying to open the preview in a new tab here. So you can see I've opened this in a new tab instead of doing the preview in both. So I'm going to sign in again so that I get a fresh. There's some cool animations as well. Okay, so we've tested all these apps. We can also open them from here, I think. Let's open the Tetris again. Let's make it a big screen. Okay, so I think this one was hidden because we were more like opening the preview in both, but you can see it just uses a full screen. I can minimize it again. You can see this is just the first phase, right? And even the first phase is looking great. It's a good starting point if I'm being honest. Let's see some context menu options as well. View options, nothing is coming, but we have refresh. Okay, so refresh is basically refreshing the whole page. We will fix that behavior, but yeah, at the moment it's just refreshing the whole page, as you can see here. Yeah, that's fine. So while looking at this, there are a couple of issues to fix. Before we even go to the next phase, you can see that when I try to drag, the drag itself delays a bit. Alright, and then when I try to drop, it doesn't really drop at the exact place I try to position it or I drop it. It drifts to like a different place. Alright, so if I try to drop this, drifts to a different place. Alright, and for example, if I open the to-do list, let me double click to open. Alright, and then I draft the window, same thing happens. Alright, and if I make this a bit bigger and I try to drag, it does not basically work. You can also see that there is no way to resize the thing from the edges here, which is usually what happens in real operating systems. You can resize windows and stuff like that. And so we need to fix this. We need to fix all these before we actually move on to the next phase. And I have an idea how I want to fix this. Right. I know that a library we can use to do this. Right. And that's because I have implemented something like this before in the past. So I built this case canvas, which is a platform for designing phone cases. Right. So when you go here, for example, get started. Right, you can add an image like this, right, and you can see this is a canvas where you can like drag and drop your items, very smooth. Right, and you can even resize the items from the edges here. This one is having a control, right, so you can position it anywhere you like, right, and you can keep the changes. So this is using React R&D. React R&D has the dragging and resizing built into it for us. In our case, we are using framer motion drag capabilities. We don't have resize, right? And the positioning there is somewhat a bit of a challenge. You'd have to do a bit of work to get it smooth. So to make things easier and also to have resizable windows, I'm going to suggest to it to use React R&D. I'm going to point out all the issues we are having and suggest that it uses React R&D just to see if it will be able to fix this. This is the prompt. Right, so update the system and then replace current framer motion only dragging behavior with uh, React R&D for precise positioning and resizable windows. Right, and then uh, replace draggable window panels with this, integrate framer motions animation. So we will just combine it with the framer motions animation for when you mount and unmount. So mount and unmount and open and close transitions. We just want to use the animations from framer motions. Alright, so make each window resizable with customizable min max sizes. Use top and left. Yeah, constraint dragging so windows stay within the screen container bounds. Yeah, that was one of the issues we had as well. The window can, I mean, you can drag beyond the window bounds. We want to prevent that. And each app window should remember its last position and size. Yeah, so that when we come back again, you would see where we dragged that stuff to are still there, just like in regular Windows, right? So there are some few enhancements prompts, and then I'm going to paste that here. I'm going to send this prompt, and then I'm going to wait for this one to finish. All right, you can see that this is completed here. So I've successfully updated the Windows system to use React R&D. React R&D integration replace framer motion dragging with R&D components, resizable windows. All windows now support resizing with customizable stuff. And title bar dragging. Windows can only be dragged via the title bar using drag handle class name, screen bounds, and yeah, all of these. Right. So let me use the same John, and then let's go. Okay. So let me see. Trying to drag. That's not working still. Hmm. That's still drifting to. What if we open a window? Let's open one of these windows and see. Um, So I don't think it's been implemented well. You can see, even though uh I can resize it a bit. As you can see, I can resize it here. Let me see here. Now you can see that even after adding another prompt to fix the drag and behavior, and use only React R&D for the dragging and stop all framer motion drag implementations, it still didn't quite work. You can see, it's I mean, the dragging is actually working, but it is limited to the top here. Whatever you want to drag, you can only drag horizontally. You cannot drag vertically. It's a problem we need to fix. And then resizing as well. You can only resize like vertically. You cannot resize from top to down. So I've taken a screenshot, and then I've added that for some reason dragging constraints the items at the top. You can only drag horizontally at the top region and not vertically across the entire desktop. Right? So you just have to keep going. That is I mean, some of the issues you'd be facing with vibe coding. Right? So yeah, you just have to keep prompting it, and then hopefully it's gonna get to a point where you feel like, okay, it's done the right thing finally. Right, so yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with the prompts, and then we would see. Okay, so you can see it says it's fixed it, right? So I fixed the dragging constraint issues, making several key changes, desktop container dimensions. Let's actually go and test and see, right? So let's drag down. Okay, so you can see it's now working. Fine. So I can drag everywhere. Yeah, basically there are also bounds as well. Let me see this one. Okay, that's also working. You can see that now the placement is actually smooth, right? It does not drift to a different place when I place it. It just places it at exactly where I put it, right? Which is which is what we want basically. So you can now see that the dragon is basically working as expected. Right, so let me also see so you can also see the resizing is now working vertically. Can now resize vertically as well, which is what we want. So now our dragging and resizing are working. They're working well now. And then let me open uh to-do list. I can resize this. I can try and add new item. Okay, Bolt is trying to refresh this again. Let's use the okay, so now I can drag around. I can try to resize it. I can try and add a new item, and let me hit enter. Yeah, that works as well. I can delete an item. Yeah, so dragging and dropping is working fine. Right, we can log out, and then we can log in again. Cool. So this is now working. So we can see that phase one is now complete. We're gonna move on to phase two. I feel like we've done most of the hard parts like resizing and dragging. So we're gonna go to phase two where we're going to add more features and then make some adjustments. I see that the Z index is also not working like well when I bring this one here. This is covering the dock panel. We're gonna fix that eventually, but yeah, we actually making progress. So let's go to phase two and then let's see what we have there as well. All right, so you can see that I am here in my text editor, and that's because I have pushed the boot project to GitHub and I've cloned the project locally. And here I am going to be using Tray. Right, so those of you who don't know about Tray, Tray is very similar to Keza. It's just like Keza. So it's an AI coding text editor, and they recently launched a feature called solo mode, which is very, very cool and amazing. Right, so as I said, Tray is very similar to Keza. In fact, it is like Keza. Right, so now I use both Tray and Keza. I've used Keza for a long time, and I recently started using Tray. In terms of the way Tray does things, it is a bit efficient than Keza, and the pricing is also relatively cheaper than Keza as well. Alright, so you can see that here I'm using the free version. I'm going to be using the free version for this one. Even in the free version, it is still quite powerful. It can still do a lot. Even though you have limitations with usage, it's still quite powerful. But I'm gonna be using the free version here, and because of that, I can't enter into solo mode, alright? Because solo mode is for only the paid version, alright? But the account I'm using here is the free account here. Alright, we're gonna stick with the builder or the IDE. As you can see here, we are in the IDE mode. That's the builder mode. So that's what we're going to be using to continue building our Vibe OS. So you can see that's the code I've basically cloned here, and these are the files. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to install the dependencies. I'm going to do npm install, and then I'm going to wait for the dependencies to finish installing. First of all, we're going to tell it all about our project here. I'm going to ask it to look through and then get familiar with our code base so that I can start making changes. I'm also going to provide some context on what we are trying to achieve here. While the installation is going on, I'm just going to start adding some descriptions here to let it know what our project is about so that I can start making some changes. So you can see the installation is done here, and I've also added some about of the project and then the next steps. So this project is an operating system simulation in a browser called Vibe OS. And here it's a fully interactive animated virtual operating system simulation in a browser. It mimics the looks and feel of traditional OS desktops like Windows OS or Mac OS, allowing users to drag and arrange. I also refined this with ChatGPT. Right. And then here the completed phase 1, the completed features, I listed them here, and then the challenges we actually fixed. Right, just for this to know that we've replaced the framer motion drag feature with React R&D, so that's what we are using now. Now this is because here we need to continue from phase 2 based on this, right? So based on this document here, which you can see contains the initial prompt for phase 1. So I just have to tell it that we've replaced the drag feature with R&D. Right, so here we said use framer motion for smooth drag and drop. Now we've replaced this one completely. We are now using R&D. Now you can see that here I've also switched to auto, right? And that's because I'm on the free version. I can remove the auto and choose a specific version like Claude 4 Sonnet. But you can see here that you may experience some waiting queue or some long waiting queue, which I want to avoid. So I'm going to use the auto, and I've used the auto a couple of times. It's still quite powerful. It does a decent job. So I believe it's gonna be able to get us through this. Right, so we're gonna stick with the auto so that it will decide based on our prompt which model, which best model to use. We'll just wait a few minutes to see what we get. I'm gonna try and run the app as well. Right, so let me first of all clear the terminal for the installation npm run dev. Right, so you can see the preview. Let's go back. All right, so you can see that this is completed. So phase 2 implementation complete, successfully fixed the dock panel issue. So the Z index issue with the dock panel, that was fixed. So we have wallpaper customization, we have team supports, fonts and font size customization, light and dark theme, colorful theme options, theme switching in settings, persisted theme selection in local storage, that's fine, font family options, font size adjustment, saved font preferences to local storage as well. Now we also have the quick search panel, ability to search for items, and also using Control K, we have a shortcut, keyboard navigation supports, launching apps directly from search result, settings app, and then these are the new components it's listed. We are going to check and see if all these features are working, right? So I'm going to go to the preview here in the browser. You can see I'm running in full screen mode. Alright, so I'm going to use join again and try to sign in. So before we go to settings, let's open one of these and then drag down here. Yeah, you can see now it appears beneath the dock panel. So that one is fixed, which is very cool. So I can try to expand this. Very nice. Let me close this one, and now let's go to settings. First of all, let's do Control K. Okay, so Control K gives us this. So we're able to search for apps and settings. Actually, the placement is not that perfect. The positioning is not in the middle. So maybe yeah, we can fix it by making it put it in the middle. But let's say we want to search for to do. Oh, that's very cool. Like you can see. I can click on it to open from here. Let's do one more time. Let's just say settings or something. Yeah, that's very cool. So let's go to settings. So when we come to settings, we have wallpaper settings. Why is the close button? Okay, so let's see the settings we have here. So let's click on this. Look at that. It's very, very cool. Let's change to this, and to this. That is very cool. All right, let's go to lights. Okay, so we are in light team now. Yeah, you can see from this window. All right, let's go to dark. Now we are in dark team. Colorful. That is very cool. And you can see that the icons here changes as well. The background of these icons changes as well. I like it. I like it. So font family changes. You can see from here. All right, so system monospace. Yeah, it's working. I think when I switch here and I go here, it doesn't work. But when I switch back and click on this, it does work. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back to system. Now, what about font size? It does work. Very, very cool. 16 pixels is fine. That's the default one. When we go back here to the features, wallpaper customization, we are able to customize the wallpaper. Team support, yeah, we have the team support, font size, quick search panel, that's fine. And then we also have the settings. So we are making a lot of progress, right? You can see that operating system is actually getting into shape. That is very cool. So we're going to go to the next phase. So let's actually make it fix the issues we identified. There were a few issues that we identified, right? So for example, this one, you can see we are in the light mode version, so we have the light mode version as well. We can use escape to close it as it's specified here. But here you can see the positioning here is not in the middle, it's shifted to the right side. Same for this. I think it's using the same kind of positioning strategy for this and this because they are actually aligned. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix the two. Oh, it looks like, yeah, we can also open the settings from right click from the context menu here. So that is very cool. Let's go back and fix those few issues and then we can continue with the next phase. Always don't fancy using the auto mode in cursor, but here, even if I'm on the free plan, I like to use the auto mode. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but the auto mode is even quite efficient at what it does. I also like their UI, like the text editor UI here. It's quite unique. You can import your VS Code settings and everything all here if you're already using VS Code. So it's very much efficient and powerful. I like it. Let's make it fix the issues we mentioned, and then maybe, yeah, we will just let it continue. Go ahead and implement phase 3 as well, right? So the placement or positioning of the dock is and search panels are not, right, and search panels are not exactly in the middle. They appear more to the right. See attached image, right? So I'm going to take a screenshot and attach it as well so that it will see how they look like. I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna paste it, right, so you can see that image. And when you go here, I think it will also be nice to have the search a search icon here, which will open the search panel. Alright, so let me add that as well. Now, one thing we've also not tested, I would like us to test it, is the fact that when we have multiple windows, for example, if I click on this, okay, so that works. Like if I click on this one, you see it appears on top of the other, which is very cool. So I can open multiple windows and then, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that is working fine. But I also want to fix the fact that when you drag, there is a bit of delay. I don't know whether it is the frame of motion animation doing that, but I wanted the dragging to be faster, to be quite faster. So I'm going to add that to the prompt to fix that as well. I also add the search icon to the dock panel to open the search panel from there as well. So we want to add the search icon there. Now, if there is a delay animation on dragging of icons and windows, can you remove them? It makes the dragging not feel smooth. We want it to be fast. Yes. And after you fix this, let's go ahead and implement phase 3. Alright, so let me submit to this. Okay, looks like it's almost done. I'm gonna skip it because it's already running. Alright, so it's gonna go through and check if there are any remaining requirements to fix. Alright, so you can see finally it's trying to end it because it's verified that all the features are implemented. And yeah, I like how careful it actually goes over the files to see that everything is implemented correctly, and also run some commands to check that all the components are actually there, or the components it tried to create are actually there, as you can see here. And so yeah, phase 3 is completed. Pomodoro timer, digital clock, and we also have a sticky notes calendar. So these are some additional apps that we have. Right? So they tried to fix the positioning issue for the dock, but I mean it wasn't fixed. It's still tilted to the right, and you can see when it's added more apps, it's still like shifted to the right side. We'll try and fix that. Still, we'll try and fix that again. And let's also see the search. Okay, that is also, yeah, that is also still positioned to the right. We will come back to this, but yeah, let's see. We have some more apps here, right? And I would rather prefer if we have these apps on the desktop and have a few apps on the dock than have them here instead. But let's test some of these new apps that we have. Okay, so we have digital clock here. So yeah, there is a digital clock. We can start it. You can see it's working. Alright, so you can, oh, actually that is the Pomodoro timer. Alright, so you can pause, start again, short break, long break. Okay, 15 minutes, and reset. Okay, yeah, so that's fine. We have our Pomodoro timer app working. Okay, what about the digital clock? Okay, so we also have the digital clock. You can expand this. That is working fine. Let's go to sticky notes. So this is how sticky notes looks like. Oh, that's really huge. So we can add a new notes. Is it really sticky? Let's start a sticky notes, right? Okay. But yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can leave it like this for now. You can see the result to save it. I mean, we can later improve this. Right, specify exactly how we wanted the sticky notes to behave. Maybe similar to how the Windows sticky note behaves. Something like that's where you can add the sticky notes on the desktop itself, the actual desktop itself here. More sticky notes here. But yeah, for now, let's keep it like this. Right, so we have a few issues to fix. We also have the calendar. Right, so you can open the calendar, enlarge. Okay, so that is working fine. Click on date to add an event. So this is just a calendar, and we can go back to today. Click on date to add events coming soon. So that's not implemented yet. Yeah. Okay, so we have a few additional apps here. So let me put them here. I'm gonna fix the issues, right? I want these apps to be on the desktop instead. From here, keep a few apps on the dock panel here. So I want a transparent digital clock here on the desktop as well. And so let's also add that as well. All right, so we've done a bit of improvement and enhancements here, right? So if we go through this chart, we fixed a few issues and additions as well, right? So the dock and search panel not being able to center properly was still an issue, so I had to point the actual situation to it, right? It was doing the centering from the left side and not the actual center of the dock container. So once I pointed out that to it and added a screenshot, it was able to fix it. And I also asked it to add a transparent digital clock. All right, so if I go here, you can see we have a transparent digital clock here, which is giving us the current time. All right, so initially the context menu was showing even when you right click on an opened window. So you can see now that is fixed. If I try to open one of these apps and I right click, the context menu is not showing. Unless I click outside here, we have the context menu showing here. That was here as well. Alright, and I want to add the ability to hide and show all desktop icons to the context menu, similar to what we have in Windows. Alright, so that is what we see here. Alright, if we go here, alright, so hide the desktop icons, we can click on it to hide the icons, and then we can right click on it to show them back. Alright, so that is a cool feature to add. I'm one of those people who don't like to show like desktop icons on their desktops, right? So that's why I added that feature. We also addressed a few issues after that, and so we already okay. So that was when it tried to install another library for the drag. I tried to install another library for the dragging of the desktop clock. I still cannot drag the desktop icon. Yeah, I mean the dragging wasn't still working, and it fixed that. And also I wanted to show some apps in search mode when no input is entered. Alright, so it was initially empty when you click here. It was empty here, but now I want to show some default apps here so that you can basically see some of the default apps, and then you'd be able to search from here. Very cool features we've been able to add here. I wanted it to add some music player here, so I added that here, ability to upload your own wallpaper. We are here to test that. When an app is opened, it should appear on the dock panel, and when it is minimized, it should indicate it's there, and only when it is closed and it is not part of the default apps on the dock panel should it remove it. Right, so those features are all added. Right, that's basically how vibe coding actually works. And you can see with no effort of touching the code ourselves, we have a working desktop simulation app. So with some apps, we have this music player here. When I open, we have some music player, yeah, with some default music as well. Alright, so you can play them. It's actually playing. I don't think you can hear, but it is playing. Let me see. Yeah, let me increase the volume for the music, and I think you can hear now. Alright, so let me reduce the volume here. We can also control the volume from here. If I increase it a bit, we can control the volume from here, and we can also upload our own music from here. Let's see if we have some music here, and you can see we have our own music, and that is also playing here. We can go to the next music from here, go to the next music from here as well. And you can see that when we open, it indicates here that it is open on the dock panel, right? When we hide it, you can see it still indicates here that it is, an app is open here. We can click on it to show it back. And then when we close it, it's gone. So let's actually go to settings and see if we will be able to upload our own custom wallpaper. Yeah, we have this additional uploader. So we can upload our own wallpaper here. Let's see if we have some images. You can see I have been able to upload a wallpaper from my PC. So we are also able to upload our own wallpaper as well. If we change this, yeah, you can see the clock also changes the font. Alright, so after adding the final fixes, we now have a working desktop simulation here. So you can see that just a few more fixes that I have done to make sure that all the apps adapt to light and dark theme as well. We vibe coded all of these things. It is interesting that these days AI can do this. The possibility is actually endless here, but we are going to end here, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to see you in the next video.